This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the UK's #1 coral selling website, coral-auctions.co.uk and reef.etsy.com for all your 3D printed aquarium accessory needs. YouTube. Hello everybody, welcome to Prestige Reef Darkshire. Today we're going to be talking about how disgusting acros are and how everybody should bin them off immediately.
I'm glad you reminded me, because I did not know what we were talking about today.
Well, this is something Ryan will agree with me on, so
that's true. That doesn't happen very often, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's about just why I hate acros basically, and I've remembered because I've not had acros for properly for a couple of years now. I've dipped my toe in the water with a few, and you can see from the thumbnail what's happened to one of them. And I know why, and it was my fault, and it was there are other reasons as well that mean it was all to be expected. But just like I was talking to someone, I was talking to someone this weekend in a shop, and just talking. Oh no, I think he came around to buy a car or something, and we were talking about like what you've got the appetite for, and just in terms of effort and all that sort of thing. And
this hobby can be as easy or as difficult as you want it to be.
Yeah, basically.
So, and it's the same for me. I would say that I've had acros before, but I would rather sell other corals, to be honest, because it's a risky game.
Mm. Well, you still sell some. Do you have acros on your website?
No, I don't think there's any on there. There's one on the auction site at the moment, only because someone specifically said you never put acros on the auction site. So I was like, okay, you can have one.
Okay.
So I put but it's just it's like a Miyagi tort is the only thing that I sort of have. So I grow some millies.
Is that the one that you got off me and you broke it and changed it the wrong color?
What, the Miyagi tort?
Yeah.
No, I fixed it.
Oh, you fixed it and made it the wrong
I turned
color.
it the right color. No, I actually don't know. I got this, I think, for a tank breakdown ages ago, and it was like the size of my torso. It was huge. This piece. Yeah. So I don't think that came from you, did it?
No, well, that was pretty big as well, but it wasn't as big as.
No, this was like big. So I'd be surprised if it came from you, because it would have filled up half your tank.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, and I don't. To be fair, there's some acros which appear to be just as easy as the other ones. As other corals, so you don't have to stay away from all of them. But
that's the thing. Well, we'll come back onto that later, because we're going to get into it otherwise. But you've had a busy week, Ryan. You've been doing some stuff.
Yes, it's been so busy that I actually had forgotten that it was this week that I did it. So for a long time, I have had an issue with one of the coral trays. And it's the weirdest situation. For those who don't, I'm sure there's plenty of regular listeners, but it's been the weirdest situation where corals will grow fine in the bottom tray and the tank on the right, but they won't grow in the top tank. Now, for reference, they all share the same water. And I've done a PAR reading, and the PAR reading is fine. So when I say fine, it's like 100 to 150. It's not too high for the corals that are in there. Because it's mostly just like montiporas and things like that. Now, if I move those exact montiporas into the tank below, then they will grow, and they grow fast, and there's not an issue. Mm-hmm. So this has frustrated me for a long time, because I hadn't changed anything. But so I stripped the tank down on Monday, and what I realized is there was about 10 legs of the rack, the frag rack.
Yeah.
Now, when you make 3D printed things for saltwater tanks, they should be made from is it PETG or PETG? Yeah. I'm not sure but that's what it should be made out of. Now, the person that made my racks was a bit dodgy, and they printed them in PLA. And basically, when I took the racks out, firstly they were mostly corroded, like the
Well, actual
not
rock.
metal corroded. No, like
No, just like mulch.
they were like just pieces. Like you
Yeah.
could, if you could squish them, and they would just like disintegrate in your fingers. So that was the but the other thing that I got from it, the smell from them was unbelievable. Like
Really?
as in, I don't know if there's stuff inside them, but like this just the most intense sulfur smell. And I just think now I had actually
Something
replaced.
crawled in there and died or something.
I don't know, but they're all the same.
Yeah.
They're all the same, and I kept some of them because I was gonna like literally show you on the live, and I thought actually I can't do that here because it'll just go all over the floor because they're dry now. But like to show you how crumbly they are, they're like a biscuit is how crumbly they are, and there's huge chunks missing from them where like they've already crumbled. If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Now
Okay.
that was in the water, so now I went through and replaced all of the legs on all of the tanks a long time ago, probably over a year ago. But those coral trays had huge colonies on them, which were actually grow. Do you remember the big digitata colonies I had on them?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I couldn't get those trays out easily because they'd all like grown into each other. So I went, well, I'll replace the easy ones at the side and I'll just leave those ones.
Yeah.
And I can't guarantee that this is it, but I just think that like the smell of them was like the sort of thing that would make you throw up.
Yeah,
like it was so powerful.
Crazy.
So I'm hopeful. Like either way, it can't be good. It can't be good.
No, totally. Even yeah. Because you think that would just spread around the water still, but maybe it goes.
I know what you mean, but like you can get areas of like low pH in a tank. Sometimes people have all their sand clumps together because the pH in that area of the tank is like turned it into a calcium reactor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's usually because detritus has built up there. So I just wonder if it was causing some sort of, I don't know. Remember, this is just a guess.
That would make sense though. So so Nick says that PLA is biodegradable, so probably some sort of bacteria breaking down, which would make sense.
Yeah.
I think it's cornstarch. It's polylactic acid, but I think it comes from cornstarch, so it's a plant effectively. I think that's right. And the reason that people would use it instead of PETG, which is what you're supposed to use, is because it's easier to work with. PETG is a bit of a pain in the backside.
Yeah.
But you've just got to deal with that.
I don't know why people think that, because I print with that all the time, and I don't. Maybe it's because I now know how to use it, and you just put the settings correct, and my printer doesn't.
PETG and PLA, anything I can make out of PLA, I'll make it out of PLA because it looks much nicer. It's smoother. You don't get stringing as much. When if you print with PETG, it's just always it doesn't look as nice as much as anything, and it takes longer.
It takes longer, and I do find at the very beginning there can be some like string on it. Like if you don't break that bit off at the beginning, sometimes it will just ruin the rest of it.
Yeah, you got to spend more time tidying it up. It's just it's a bit more of a pain. So, but at the end of the day, if it's going in the tank, it's worth the effort.
It has to. No, it has to be that.
Exactly. So yeah.
So I just wonder if I don't know, but that's the only thing I could find in the tank that is not in the other tank. I know it can go through the water or whatever, but I just wonder if because it was so close, you have to remember they're directly below the frag racks, aren't they? So could that be irritating?
And the flow is going to be less underneath the frag racks.
Yeah,
because your power heads above them, I think.
That's correct. Yes.
So it would make sense if there's like not stagnant bits, but it's not mixing so much.
Yeah, I just like it's hard to. It's whenever we have problems with our tanks, you're just clutching at straws, and you don't know if you fixed it. I don't know if this is fixed because it will take ages to know if it's fixed.
And even if it is fixed, you'll be like, well, was it because I stripped it down and cleaned it, or
yeah. Well, I only did one tray on that system. As in, so the other trays, so I literally just shut that system off, drained it down, scraped all the algae off of it, took any like detritus or anything, and filled it back up. So it's a theory, but that's all I got at the moment. And if it's not that, I'm done. I have no idea. If it's not that, I have to strip the whole system down.
Yeah, but hopefully, obviously, it will be that, and then everyone's happy.
Yeah, because I just think, what else could it be if the other, like the corals grow in the other systems too fast? like the bottom tank, the Montipora in there bother me because they grow so fast that they grow into each other.
Mm.
So I don't know. It's just one of those frustrating things. But that's what this hobby's about. So that's the first part of my week. That was the first bit.
How did the strip down go, by the way? Was it otherwise
Easy.
Yeah, easy and
Easy.
successful? And, yeah.
All I did, so I took all the trays out and put them into the good thing about Montipora like frags is that they're flat. So I just took the trays out, put them on top of the on just rested them on top of the other trays below, and then so that keeps all the corals and everything that's on them in the water, and then it took like 3 minutes just to siphon the. We used a hose which was like this. It just siphons out in like 2 minutes. It will just drain the whole tank. And then I just turn a valve and it fills. Oh no, well, the system has a thing where I can just turn a valve and fill it back up. So, but that wasn't what we did this time. We actually did it by hand, but it was fine either way. So yeah, and the only thing that we had to do is catch the fish, but there's only like 4 fish in that tank. So it's and I just put them in a plastic. I got a big plastic container that's probably like 2 feet wide, and just put them in there. And half an hour later, they were back in.
Half an hour quick. Do you remember the time when you put all my fish in a bucket and almost killed them?
No, I remember the time that we put all your fish in. Your fish in a bucket and they almost killed them.
I was at the farm. This was you'd very kindly, by the way, I should add.
Yeah,
looked after all my fish for months while I dealt with the tank.
Well, it's not bloody happening again after this story.
But then I went to collect them from you. Very grateful, of course. And you caught them all, put them in a bucket, and you were like, "Well, let's go and grab lunch." So we went out to grab lunch, and you forgot to turn the air stone back on.
Actually, I do remember that.
And we got back in, and they were fine.
When you said, "I've come all this way, let's go for lunch," I think is what happened.
Yeah, and you forgot to turn the air stone back on. So
that is true. That is true. It didn't almost kill them. I was just like, they weren't like lying on their sides. We just forgot. I had forgotten to put the I had forgotten to put the air stone on. So yes, I do remember that time.
But anyway, they were in for half an hour, and everyone was fine, and it was a quick strip down and easy. Job done for this tank.
Yeah. So I was just reading one of the comments.
What
Alex infested Ryan with bubble algae. My fish eat bubble algae, so I don't know where that's come from, but
he says, "Haha." I was in a shop today. I was being told about when Alex infested Ryan with bubble algae. Really?
I mean, it's possible.
I've got rabbit fish in my tank, so I haven't got bubble algae.
So anyway, so after that, I was pretty confident in myself. So I decided that what I was going to do is I was going to put the convict tang. For those of you that watched my last video, or out of the last week's video, I had caught the convict tang, and my plan was to keep him outside for a week and then put him back. And I put him back in the system. He had about 30 seconds of going, "Where am I?" And then he saw the yellow tang, and I kid you not, within a minute, he was like back on trying to like get it. And it's weird because like I've had mild aggression between fish before, but this is like absolutely relentless, where he's fine if it's in a cave. If it's in the cave, it's fine. It doesn't matter. If it steps outside the cave, it has a problem. And the other thing is, it doesn't actually most of the time it doesn't actually bite it. It just chases back into the cave. But I just thought I've had enough of this, so I had to get him out. But because I'd caught him previously, he knew what the trap was. Like 100% he knew what the trap was, and he would not go back in for, I think, 4 days it took me to catch him. Every other fish is swimming in and out. There was a fish that I accidentally caught, which was the female swallowtail. Let it out, put food back in. Within 5 minutes, it was back in there.
Yeah.
So I think when you put fish traps in, you realize, and I don't know if this is actually a thing or not, different fish have different levels of intelligence. They do. Like the copperman will constantly be swimming into the other side of the box, like the side that's not open. So that tells to me, even though it knows the other side, it's been in the other side loads of times, that tells me it's not an overly intelligent fish. But the convict tang, was not going in. So I did eventually catch it and I took it out. So that he's now going to the coral farm. So he's in the sump at the moment. I'm undecided which tank I'm going to punish him with. Because
you were going to put him in with a big fat tank, weren't you?
Nah, yeah. I mean, logically, it makes no. So the tank that has the least amount of tangs in is the one that just has the powder blue in it, but the powder blue will not like him.
Yeah.
So there is one tank that only has a sailfin in, and that's probably the best bet. But I will put him in an acclimation box first, just to see if that will just to like so he doesn't get attacked, so he doesn't get a taste of his own medicine, basically. Yeah. So the other issue that I had with fish and aggression, I've got quite a lot of aggression issues at the moment, don't I? Was I've always been of a firm belief that if you have a peaceful fish, which is the largest fish in the tank, it usually keeps the other fish more like subdued. So I added the male masked swallowtail angelfish to the water box. The reason he was removed previously was because he was attacking the female. He wasn't attacking her; he was just a little bit of a bully, basically. So I don't tolerate bullying if it's like more than a day, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, if it's mild, I know the difference between mild and not going to give up.
Yeah.
So she was still eating, but he was keeping her in the cave again. So I put him in. I did this a little bit on impulse, I think, rather than sometimes you'll do things and you'll think that was a good idea, and then afterwards you go, that was a terrible idea. So almost every time I will add a fish, I will put it in an acclimation box. The only reason I wouldn't necessarily do that is, say, if it was like a mandarin, because most things don't care about mandarins, and it needs access to the food that it eats. And because he is the largest fish considerably, I thought that he would be completely fine. He's about a third bigger than the female. He's still about a couple of centimeters bigger than the king eye angel, which is the next largest one. I put him in, and immediately the female attacked him. Immediately. Now, the reason I didn't use an acclimation box this time was because I wanted her. I didn't want to put him in for a couple of days and then for him to go, oh, I'm comfortable in here now, I'm the boss, and then to bully her again. So what I wanted to do was put him in, have her, assert her dominance over him, and then he goes, oh, I don't mess with this chick, and hopefully they get on.
Yeah.
That isn't what happened. I had not seen aggression like it. It was relentless to the stage where, like, I had to catch him, and it was within like 10 minutes. Like, it was just like constantly pounding him. It took about 2 hours to catch him, and I did get him out in the end.
With the net, were you doing it, or?
Yeah. So although in the end he was in the top corner, and that's how I managed to catch him.
Yeah.
So this is I would arguably say joint my favorite fish along with the king eye. The king eye I would say definitely is my favorite. But I like it a lot, and it took 7 years to get, and it's not a cheap fish. But it's not just that as well. It's like I've had it for a year now, I think, almost roughly a year, or no, yeah, it must have been over a year now. I think I've had it, because I think we got it in like December last year.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Or November. And I had issues with it not eating at the beginning, so you're like worried about, and you're feeding it like live mysis, which is like £1.50 a pack, and it's got to eat 4 of them a day. So, but yeah, so I made the mistake, basically. I thought I was doing the right thing, and I should have put him in an acclimation box. Anyway, so I took him out, and I put him into a quarantine tank, and he just lied on his side. Like, he did not do anything. And I thought to myself, this is like bad. I've seen fish in far worse conditions than he is. So I don't know if he swam into something or and has given himself a head injury, something like that, but he's just not the same. So after being in the quarantine tank for a day, I thought, right, this is my last, this is the last shot, basically. I'm going to put him back into the tank that he was already in the coral farm. I wondered if it's the flow that was like bothering him in the quarantine tank. I didn't know, so I put him in there, and all of a sudden he was starting to swim again, and he was swimming sort of mostly upright. But if you went near him, he would swim flat like normal, like a normal fish. He won't eat anything. But today was the first day he started to swim around that tank, not just in that corner where he's flat again. And it's just, as I said, I don't know. They're like, I know for a lot of people they're just fish, but it's not like that for me because I take it really personally because I made a mistake. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that fish was fine, and if I hadn't moved it, it would still be fine. So I'm at the stage where, like, I think that he has the possibility of recovering because he is swimming around. But every morning I get up and the first thing I do is go see him and see if he's dead.
You expect him, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm literally trying to feed him with a like a pipette directly into, not into his mouth, but like the
right
food's hitting his mouth. But he's just not going for it. I don't think live food will make a difference because it's almost like it's almost like he doesn't see the food, if you see what I mean. Like it will just bounce off of him. It's not like he's like dynamic and active. If I put a mysis in there, the mysis will be able to outrun him. So I don't think that's going to make a difference.
Okay.
But that's my next. I might try it. Although getting live mysis around here is not easy to get. I called around all the shops and no one had any.
Reef keeper must end. I got a load from them this weekend and last weekend.
Oh, okay. Was it so? It's my. I think it arrives on a Friday for people. So and then usually by Saturday afternoon it's gone.
Yeah.
But look, we'll see. As I said, it's I don't like making mistakes, and I know lots of people make mistakes, but this will if he dies, this will be like a personal one for me. I think. I think this will be yeah. And look, we've had issues with fish before. We had remember the issue with the golden angel that wouldn't eat, and then I put it in the coral farm, and it's now back in the water box. So sometimes there's like these things where they go bad for a bit, and then they get bad for a bit. So,
which is probably what will happen with this, but
I would say probably 20% survival.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, when he was in the quarantine tank, I was like 1%.
Wow, really bad.
Yeah, like I said, if a fish is on its side, that's usually it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true.
Like if you see like your rabbit fish, for example, if you saw that lying on the side and on the bottom of the tank, you'd go, that's a goner.
Completely.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he's just healing, and he doesn't want to swim because it hurts. I don't know.
Yeah. Bruised or whatever.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure I'll have an update for you one way or another next week. But we should probably like build this up so it's not. Oh, am I boring you? Boring you with my sad story? Just sitting there yawning.
Sorry.
I do this. But yeah, that's it. So other than that, like I made a couple of videos. I know one wasn't really a proper video, but it was actually your idea, I think, where you said I should start putting out videos of the corals in the tank more regularly. So I'm gonna try to I don't know why I say try, because if that's like the weakest commitment, isn't it?
Don't, yeah.
Yeah, my plan is to do a very, very quick 5-minute video each week of the corals that are on the auction site. It has worked actually, because there's a war paint Scully that's up tonight that I think it was £100. I put the video up. It's now almost like 190 or something, or 185. So it does make a difference. So we'll see. But yeah, it was your idea. And
I'm not sure I can take credit for that. I've just, because you made those videos before where you walk around the farm, and I just said you should do more. I say it's not really.
Yeah, no, I know. But you specifically said to me, this was months ago. Basically, I ignore you for months and months and months, and then I do.
And you realize I'm right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I've always known, but some part of me wants to make some of the videos. I want them to be like good if I'm putting on YouTube, and I think you know what that feels like, that feeling inside.
Do you think that video was a good video?
No, I don't think it was a good video. I thought it was a rubbish video, but that's why. But that video didn't have that. That wasn't the purpose of the video. So I want the videos to be good, but I realized, well, who cares? People will watch the videos that I do of the tank, for example, and they will enjoy those videos, and they're a bit more edited. And the people that are interested in buying the corals will watch the
They just
other
want to buy
videos.
the corals.
Yeah.
Just a quick. I put a glass in the freezer earlier.
Why?
Fucker. Just because it's, I don't know.
I love how I can destroy your like feeling towards it in like one sentence or one word.
Completely pointless.
A glass in the freezer. Why?
Because I don't know. 20 years ago, I went to a pub and they had beers, glasses in the freezer, and so it comes out and they're frosted. And the theory is that it's like preheating a cup before you put tea in it, so it keeps it at a cooler temperature. Don't make an ounce of difference, but it looks cool.
My mum does that with coffee, and like in the time that she's taken to warm she put boiling water into a cup, pours the boiling water out, and then puts an espresso on. Yeah, in the time she's done that, I've already drunk my espresso.
Yeah.
So I don't know. People are strange, but then again, you're the one who's icing your glasses these days.
Absolutely, yeah. But anyway, let's not spend 10 minutes talking about beer glasses. You talked about stupid fish and intelligence levels.
Yeah.
I will see your copper-banded butterfly, and I will raise you an Australian stripey.
Okay.
That is a dumb fish. So they just don't seem to be. I think that all they think is, where's the food? Can I eat it? I think that's the extent of their intelligence, basically. So I caught mine this weekend because he's done his job. There was one little tiny Aptasia left, and it was the one that I wanted to get rid of the most.
Okay.
Because it's next to it's a Bugatti chalice, I think. I got it from you, like a burgundy red with gold bits in it. It's a really nice coral. I've had it for ages, and one half of it has been stung to death by an Aptasia, and the other half is fine, but it can't grow that way because it was there. So I desperately wanted that to go, and finally he's got rid of it. He got rid of half of it, and now he's done the rest of it. So I was like, right, you can go, because he hasn't eaten any corals, or not that I've seen anyway, not that I've noticed. I don't necessarily think he's about to start eating corals. He's not like starting to eye them up, but there will come a time when he does, and I don't want to be around when the Aptasia eating fish hits the fan. I don't want to be around when that happens, basically. I want him out. So I was like, you know what? You've done your job. You've done me no harm. So I'm going to take you back to the shop. And I got some store credit, and basically it cost me 60 quid which is the difference between what I bought it for and what I sold it for. So 60 quid to get rid of Aptasia and cleared it all completely. That's a good deal. I should have made a video.
Last one.
Even that last one.
Oh, so he did get that one.
He got it. Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
Said there was one specifically. Oh, okay.
I was waiting for him to get that before I took him out. I wasn't going to take him out before he got that. So he got that out, and so he's done his job basically. It's cost me 60 quid to clear the Aptasia, which is money well spent. And if you offered someone the opportunity, get rid of all the Aptasia in your tank for 60 quid, you'd snap their arm off. So he's done his job, and I thought, well, let's try and catch him then. I put the fish trap in, bearing in mind I caught another fish like a week ago, and he saw him go in there. He was in and out loads. You think he might be a little bit sheepish about it, but within 3 seconds I put the trap in, one of my fish swam in, the pintail wrasse, and then I put some food in, and within 3 seconds he was in there trying to get the food. And I tugged the trap door thing, and it didn't close because I was putting it from the wrong angle. And normally all my other fish, they feel that and they're like, hang on, something's not right, and they swim out. So you can't afford to mess that up. But he was like, just give me the food. So I got the time to walk all the way over to the other side of the room and then shut the door. And he was just like, oh no, I'm in it. Like, he's a dumbass fish.
Yeah, there's definitely a few. Like, as I said, I don't know if it's intelligence or not, but again, the copper band does not care. Once it's got in, like, you can close the door, open the door, close it again. It's just like, I'm happy in here. And I wonder if it's something it's the Aptasia that's doing something to their brains.
To be fair, so the isosceles wrasse and the stripey were in together.
Yeah.
And the isosceles wrasse was just like, yes, okay, cool, I'll just swim around in here. Like, nothing was going on. The stripey, as soon as the door came down, was darting back and forward like they do, like and constantly, even for the next hour or so, it looked like he was like, I need to escape. But the wrasse was just like, whatever. Yeah, I let the wrasse out, but he wasn't bothered. He was having a nice time. So.
There were two fish in my tank, which I would say surprised me that at no point over the last 2 weeks has ever gone in the trap. Now, I'm not including things like the assessor because there, or the golden angel, for example, because they sort of stay near the rockwork and the blennies. But the multi-bar angel not once has gone into the trap. If you're putting a dwarf angel, I know it's not quite a dwarf angel, in your tank, and you think you can get it out easily, I guarantee you they are one of the hardest fish to get into a trap. And the other fish, this one surprised me the most, the white-tailed coaltang. Not
really?
once.
Yeah,
Not
actually,
once did he go in.
I had one, and it took me a long time to catch him.
But why?
Yeah, I don't know. So when you put, because sometimes like I put a trap in, if you particularly mostly algae eating fish, like my foxface will go in quite regularly because they go in like just because anything that scrapes on rocks all day long will go in thinking it's a surface, I'm going to go and give it a crack. But some fish don't do, and I forgot where I was going with this. Well, what were you talking about?
I was saying how the coaltang wouldn't go in.
Yeah, for some reason he wouldn't go in.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I was going to say. Literally.
Oh, it's obviously really interesting.
How old am I? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, some are harder to catch than others. But the coaltang. Oh yeah, no, that's where I was going. Bloody hell. So the last time
Alex,
I had,
you've lost me now. So
don't interrupt me. I'll forget again. The last time I had that was what's the pink wrasse called? Mystery wrasse.
Yeah.
And this was when I had my white spot outbreak. I caught all the fish and I just couldn't catch him, and he wasn't interested. So I kept putting more and more stuff in the fish trap: rocks, frag plugs, corals, the works.
Yeah.
Until eventually he went in. And I've seen you do the same thing before. So is that when you has the multi-bar gone in when it's been full of like when it looks natural and all that sort of stuff? Or
so I didn't make it look natural this time.
No,
it's just at the tank. So yeah, in previously I've covered it in rocks and everything to try to get them to go in. But my theory about why the bristle-tooths are so difficult to get in is because they're probably never hungry. So fish that eat off like that only eat mysis, for example, that don't eat off the rocks, they only get fed once or twice a day. So they're going to be hungry. It's more important to them. Whereas you always see all those like little like lip marks on the glass, don't you? So if you think about it, he has more food than everyone else in that tank because all day, every day, he's just scraping the glass and the rocks. And I know the tangs can eat off but it's not the right algae for like, it's not like filamus algae, which is what they eat. So I just wonder if that's the reason that are they either more intelligent or they're just not hungry.
Yeah.
But usually if I hadn't fed the fish for a couple of days, which I didn't do it at all this time, I only do that if it's like desperation. If you don't feed them for a couple of days and you put mice in there, they'll go in.
Yeah.
The other thing that I find fascinating is that fish have a preferred taste for things. And they also have a weight with regards to they assign a value to different types of food. And this is how I can tell you this. If I put nori into the trap, the convict tang will not go in, like not go in at all. If I put a grazing wheel into the trap, the convict tang will not go in at all. If I put a cube of mice in the trap, he goes in. So isn't that interesting that if it's outside the trap, it will eat nori and eat the grazing wheel, but inside the trap where he fears it, he's like, not worth my life. Mice says, I'm going straight in.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
so
that is weird.
It's like there must be a thing inside the fish that goes, this is a high value food. I'm willing to take that risk.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why does it make a difference?
I mean, maybe it's like maybe mice shrimp is just delicious, and you're like, oh, I love that. I'm going to go for it.
Yeah. So
it's not about high value. It's just like you're offering him a bar of chocolate, and he's like, yeah, I'll have a Mars bar.
Yeah, well, if it thinks it's nicer, it's higher value.
I don't want a salad. Give me a Mars bar, and I'll have it.
He's like, I can eat this algae off the rocks. Nori's basically the same. Just like, give me the good stuff.
Yeah, okay. Maybe he's training you to give him mysis.
Maybe he gets mysis anyway. As I said, I find it interesting when you do. They're almost like little experiments when you're trying to catch fish because you're trying to outsmart them.
Yes, trial and error, and
I saw like Nios did a fish trap, and I saw it like a couple of times, but I don't know if it ever like caught on and became really popular or not.
So I've seen people using them, and I've seen people have success with them, and it's the sort of thing that looks good on Instagram. And so I think you see a lot of them when it's like that. But I've
It
also
looks good on
seen
Instagram with a yellow tang that has been trained to eat in that little, little thing.
exactly. But I've also seen people who are not who are not like on the hook, basically, using them with success. But to me, that I think, I mean, it's funny that you can get Vast Ocean equivalent for 23 quid on AliExpress. That for me, the reason I don't like these are, well, one, because it's tiny. So when you catch the fish, like in my fish trap, it's a decent size. So when I've caught it, I feel like I can leave it in there for days. This, I think the purpose of it is you catch it and you take it out straight away. I don't think that's really what it's designed for. But also, you have to, because it's based on a magnet, you have to go over and take the magnet off. And I'm sure you must be able to get it on a string or something.
That's what I would do.
If I walk over to the tank, the fish is going to swim away. So
definitely.
And sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll just be like, yeah, whatever. But the one time when you're trying to catch a really tricky fish, he's not having it. He's scared of you. So I don't like. I think it looks cool, and I'm sure it does work. But I've never thought, I'd like to buy that. And the fish trap I've got, Aquamatic one, it just works. It's really good.
I think I've got the same one. That's the one with the glass door.
Trap door. Yeah, the heavy glass door. Yeah. Aquamatic fish.
The only issue with those is remember, I've had mine 18 or 19 years now, I think. It's the door. The door, if it's not lined up properly, it doesn't close, does it? Yeah.
So you pull the wire and it makes a noise, moves down about a centimeter, and then sticks.
Yeah. And that can be frustrating if you wait an hour for a fish to go in
every evening for 5 days, and then it swims out. Yeah, and then you're waiting again. 80 quid they are. They're quite expensive. I'm sure I paid less than that, but to be fair, that's one thing I've used that a dozen times, probably more, loads.
I've used mine loads of times over the years.
Yeah, well worth it.
And they even make for a temporary acclimation box. Like, it's not really big enough. My acclimation box is a bit bigger, and if you've got room to put the trap in the bottom of the tank, you can put a new fish in it and then just leave it there for a couple of days. So it has like dual purpose.
With the door coming down, right? So because it's a standard, it's at an angle, right? When I put it in, I put the trap at an angle so the door can drop straight down. Yeah. Do you do that, or do you have it at the door at an angle? No.
Okay. All I do is I make sure that when I put it in, I drop the door down a few times to make sure it's clear.
Right. Okay.
And then I then set it and put the pin in to make sure that it can definitely fall. Like, I put the pin in really gently as I lift it up to make sure it's like smooth. So, but. Yeah, actually, this leads on quite nicely to something you told me, which I said to you I wasn't going to say I told you so about,
but
until I could say it to you publicly. So, will you be using your fish trap anytime soon for any of your fish? Hypothetically, let's just talk like hypothetically speaking now.
No, mate, I'm quite loyal to my fish. Once I've bought a fish, that's it. You're my brother.
You're like the least loyal person to your fish.
Yeah. So I'll come on to why in a second, but I've decided I'm gonna get rid of my my rabbit fish, my one variegated, what's it, 2-barred rabbit fish is what it's called.
Yeah. Do you know how many people went out and bought rabbit fish because you had one?
Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
Probably at least 12.
That was a mistake. I can't believe you did that. No, so he's been, I'm sure I told you this before. He's been nibbling on 2 of my corals, as far as I can tell. Space Invader Chalice and a Pectinia, Space Invader Pectinia. Maybe you like Space Invader corals. Interesting. I've stumbled upon the answer. He knows what they're called. Anyway, they're fine. The corals are still growing. They don't look unhealthy. It's just Pectinia is quite a puffy coral, and this is never puffy. It's not like receded, but it's never puffy because he pecks on it. And the Chalice has just got a couple of like white patches on it where he nibbles on it. So I'm going to catch him. I talked about this before, and I thought I was going to do it, and someone came out and bought something off me, and he was saying, "Oh, it's a really lovely fish." And I was like, "Yeah, it would be a shame to get rid of him." But now I've come back round again, and I saw him again nibbling at the Pectinia today, and I was like, "You know what? I just don't want unreef safe fish in there." And he is a cool fish. I just don't want him in there anymore. So I value the corals more.
Can you just repeat that last sentence you just said again?
The last sentence I said again. Yeah, so I'm going to
said,
catch him and remove him. Are they saying that?
you said, I don't want unreef safe fish in there. Now, I seem to remember a conversation with you about how reef safe they were. And I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. And there's also another conversation I seem to remember when you're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I think I want to have a Regal Angel.
Yeah, I know. But I think that all the time. So reef safeness, I say the same thing. I've never said they are reef safe, 100% reef safe.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Then, like for me, they are like a 90%er. It might be a matter of time, but most of the time they don't eat corals. There are plenty of stories out there. You'll see, you don't have to search long to say, oh, mine ate my zoas or my acans or whatever. And I caught I had a very small one that I caught eating my Scully, and it was as soon as that happened, I was like, "You're going today, mate."
Yeah.
But I had another white spot, a one spot foxface, sorry, that didn't eat anything. So for me, they're not like it will eat your corals. It's well, you might have a good run where it's okay. Maybe they're worse when they get older. Some people say that when they get bigger, but they're not reef safe. It's not like a clownfish. But for me, it's worth the risk, and it's easy to catch. And even my experience is when they've gone for a coral, they haven't demolished it. That won't necessarily be the same for everyone, but because like if he'd killed that space,
that like a little caveat there. Don't sue me if you
exactly. Don't at me if it happens to you. But yeah, there you go. You've got your you've got your smugness.
No, I said I wasn't going to say I told you so. So I haven't said it.
Your face was extremely smug, and your face said, "I told you so" without the words. So,
now look, I don't care that it happened that he's doing that. It's more of, I always think people should do whatever they want, like within reason. Like don't go putting a load of chromis in with a grouper. Probably a bad idea. Where did that idea come from? But like with corals and fish and like. There is no real rule book. One of my customers bought, I think he bought two, or I think it was two Scollies he bought from me, and then about an hour later he sent me a message saying just caught the Soho tang because he was starting to eat them. So so literally straight out.
yeah.
So and I have issues with tangs all the time where they eat corals. So. And it's not, they're not eating them, they're just eating the mucus, so it's bothering the coral, so it doesn't open up and then it dies, and it's just like, no, okay. So like people should do what they want, and like rabbitfish are one of the higher risk ones, but as far as I'm concerned, tangs cause me more trouble than any of the copper bands do, and they're also a high risk one.
That's funny, isn't it? Yeah. There's actually, you asked the other day about you were talking about oldest fish that I've got.
Yeah.
I went back and looked at photos to find the oldest fish I've got. I can't work out exactly, and obviously I don't know how old it was when I got it. But the oldest fish the longest I've had a fish for that is currently in my care is 7.5 years, and it's the long-nosed hawkfish.
Okay, he was partly in my care at one point, wasn't he?
He was partly in your care, but that's not the kind of fish that you would think would be particularly long-lived. I wouldn't anyway. But
to be fair, I'd have no idea. Like I genuinely, if clownfish can live for like 36 years or whatever it is, may even be longer than that now.
Yeah.
I'm sure somewhere on one of the clownfish breeding, like ORA or something, said they had had a clownfish for like 52 years or something. It was one of them. It might not have been ORA. So what's the difference?
But there was true. Anyway, 7.5 years.
Well done.
The rabbit is not going to be around for 7.5 years. Someone asked earlier for an update on my azure damsels. They're generally fine, but Arthur, I haven't seen him for a while, so he's missing, presumed dead.
Yeah.
Which is
that was the one with half didn't have a tail, did it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which is not surprising. And actually, so I'd said last time I talked about him, I said that his tail had grown back. I took a photo of him and compared it to the photo of when it first happened. And I don't think the tail had grown back. I think he'd grown, but the tail looked the same to me. So actually, I don't think the tail was growing back. It was weird though, because he swam exactly the same as all the others. Like he wasn't like off balance or whatever. But anyway, he gone as far as I could make out. So there's, you know how I hate AI, right? And I think generally everybody hates AI. No one actually likes AI. It's not doing anyone any favors as a general rule. It makes a lot of people stupid because they trust everything that AI says, even though it's wrong, like a lot of the time. Anyway, rant over. I got accused every now and then you'll see someone who was a YouTuber being accused of being an AI. And I've seen there are 2 channels I've been watching for years, and every now and then they get accused of being an AI because of the way their voice is. And I got that for the first time this week.
Did you?
I did. Someone said this AI presentation was awful or something.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, bloody hell, cheers, mate. But this was on the motorbike channel, Average Biker.
Were they? They're not saying your AI, are they? Or are they saying?
No.
Or are they saying your words are AI?
I don't know if they think the channel was AI generated or if it was an AI voice reading it. But whatever, they didn't think it was my voice. They didn't think it was a human reading it.
I've seen it where someone said before that this is an AI script. So the person reading out is real, but they've typed it. They've gone to AI and said, "Get me a script." The problem with it, so I do think it is a powerful tool for certain things, but the problem with it is, and this happened yesterday, and I've never really felt this way before. I said to Rachel last night, I said, "Oh, they're making a new Tomb Raider movie." Not that I've seen the other ones, so I'm not sure why I cared. It was more, I think it's Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones is the main character. You've not watched Game of Thrones, have you? No. And she went, really? She's ginger. Why would they make her like Lara Croft? And then I went, wait a minute, I saw this on Facebook. This might not even be real. and then we Googled it and it was real. But do you see what I mean? Like, seeing is not believing anymore.
No, it's not. It's funny.
And like I can usually tell it. Well, not usually. I can always tell if you get like Obama or someone saying something, and they've changed that, they've made him say something. Yeah. You can usually tell with things like that, and it's like obvious. But with things that are on Facebook that are computer generated now, like that, it was just a news article. Yeah, and it's so easy to just make stuff up.
Yeah, but to be fair, so I think it was them saying that it was AI voice, because the video I made, it was me touring around France on a motorbike talking about the things that were happening in the video. So and an AI script couldn't do that, I don't think. But anyway, it was in French, and I had to translate it to English. But I just thought it was funny that someone accused me of being
were speaking AI in French.
No, exactly.
Yeah. I didn't know you spoke French.
Deux billets, s'il vous plaît. No, the comment was in French. I tried to. I used to go to France a lot when I was a kid, and I always used to think I could speak all right French. My French is terrible. Like, I can order a table, and then as soon as I get asked a question, I'm out completely. And I went on that biking trip. I was trying to find a car park late at night that accepted motorbikes, and the place that I went to didn't. So I went over to the guy at the counter, and I wanted to say, "Are there any other car parks that do take motorbikes?" And I could say, "Is there any other?" Est-ce qu'il y a une autre? But then I was like, what's car park? I don't even know what car park is. And it turns out it's parking, and he understood what he told me. But just like,
are you sure that's French, or you just said it in a French accent?
No, he said, and people have told me since, but just like, my vocabulary is extraordinarily limited. I can order a beer, and if you ask me what beer I want,
I'm like, he wasn't making fun of you?
No, well, he probably was, but anyway, Acros, Ryan.
Tell me about them.
So this the cover on the cover, I don't know what it is. Someone asked me before if it's a golden dragon, so maybe it's a golden dragon. It's a smooth skin acro, and I've had that for, I don't know, a few months, for 3 to 6 months, let's say. And about 6 months ago, I decided to add a few acros to my tank just to see how they got on.
Yeah,
I didn't expect them to do well at all, because the maximum par in the tank is less than 200, probably 180-ish.
Yeah.
And these are right at the top, but it's very low par. The flow is even lower. Like, if you were to, I don't know what the equivalent would be, but in measurements, but the flow is really low in that tank, and you don't see the polyps moving much at all on Acros. So the flow, it's terrible conditions for that in the first place, and also my nutrients are high, so it's up against it basically. But I bought a few Acros, and some of them started doing well. The barley green Slimer is doing well, which is not that surprising because they're quite hardy. What's it called? Tricolor, the Velida, or Garth Bonsai, I can never remember which is which. Again, purple with like green.
Did you just call it a tricolor?
tricolor, tricolor.
Is it not tricolour, Acro?
Well, yeah, all right, yeah, tricolor. Yeah, but tricolor is like it's like foreign pronunciation.
It
like
was
Italian or
it
French
was
pronunciation.
today that you learned it was a tricolour, isn't it?
No, but I think the correct pronunciation is tricolor because it's a French word.
Is it? I've literally
so.
never heard it. I've always called them tricolours because they got
But
three.
so I noticed something the other day. You said you said the word camaraderie. You say it weird. You say it camaraderie, and I
Camaraderie.
worked out why.
Why?
Because every now and then you say camaraderie, and I'm like, why are you saying it like that? But it's because that's the American pronunciation.
Oh, is
I
it?
believe. I watched an American TV program and someone said camaraderie, and I was like, oh, that's why he says that. Anyway,
Yeah, maybe.
tell me if
maybe.
you're American. Tell me if you pronounce camaraderie.
When I start saying aluminum, then we got a problem.
No, I'm not having that. But anyway, that Acropora leader, that's doing fine. The Barley Green Slimer is doing fine. And I bought a Sunset Millie as well. So I figured Sunset Millie's been in the hobby for quite a while. It's a Millie, so it's semi-hardy. But it's that's done okay. It's not dead, but the polyps are never out and it just doesn't look happy. So it hasn't really done anything. But this golden dragon or whatever it was, the smooth skin, was doing really well. It was growing fast, looking really nice, great colors, just happy as Larry. And then a couple of days ago, it just half of it stripped. It stopped, to be fair, and it's not continued to strip, but just half of it stripped. And that's the problem with Acros. That's the problem I've got, is that there can be everything else in the tank is all right. That wasn't. There are a couple of cars that weren't okay before, but everything else that was fine is still fine. LPS, even the basic SPS, bird's nest, and all that sort of stuff. So it's and actually the thing that caused it was my fault, and it was an error and a problem that I caused. But every other coral survived, and this Acro was like, no, I'm out. But what happened?
What caused it?
So a couple of things happened actually. I've got a skimmer. My skimmer isn't working properly at the moment, and I think I've worked out what it is. I just the Red Sea sump. I really like the layout because it's in quarters.
Yeah.
So instead of rows, you get each section is a square basically instead of rectangles, and I really like that. But it means that the skimmer is at the back, so you've got to it's quite difficult to get to. And my skimmer's got an external pump, so to get the pump out, I need to get my left hand in and then my right hand in, and then I haven't actually got space to get in. So whenever I've had to do that before, it's a real pain. I just can't be bothered to do it. But the pump has blocked up, and I think I ripped out a ton of hair algae from the frag tank section the other day, and I'm pretty sure that must have escaped into the skimmer and blocked it up. I think that's what's causing it. So I just need to unplug that. But first off, skimmer stop working. It's on, and you can see the water moving inside, but like tiny amount of movement. It's not frothing or whatever, so it's not oxygenating. It's not doing what it normally should do, which probably isn't helping pH. Also, and this is the real problem, I cleaned out my calcwasser stirrer, and then I filled it back out again and put it back into place and left it and walked away. I came back the next day and the liquid inside was crystal clear, and I was like, wow, I must have done an amazing job cleaning that. It's not normally like that, because calc is normally it's clear, but it's kind of it's a bit milky. Yeah. I was like, God, I must have done a brilliant job. And I came back the next day and it was the same, and I was like, what? That's weird. And I tried turning the magnetic stirrer pill up, and it didn't do anything. And I was like, I've put the magnetic stirrer pill back in the wrong place, so it had come off. So I put it back. You're supposed to put it in the middle. I must have just put it to the side, so it just wasn't stirring. And that meant that basically I hadn't been dosing calcium or alkalinity and screwing my pH as well, because it's calcwasser, for 2 days, 48 hours. And I was like, and so that's what caused it. So it didn't I think it might have been a pH crash. It might have been the alkalinity dropped by 1 point. So from like 8.5 to 7.5, whatever it was, in 48 hours, which isn't major, to be fair. But it's the sort of thing that that if you're a fussy coral, you don't like that.
Unforgiving is what they are.
Exactly, yeah. So,
but this made a whole tank full of those.
Exactly what I was about to say. Like,
I missed so small can make a difference.
There are so many times when I'm like, God, I'd love a tank full of Acros again. It really and I'll do it better this time. But then, what I found before is, like, I didn't want to go away on holiday because if I go away and something like this happens, bang, you lose half your corals. So
I totally agree, and that's exactly why the majority of people. This always surprises people, but the majority of people want LPS corals and they want soft corals. Most people in the hobby want those.
Yeah.
So people always go, "Oh, why don't you sell more acros?" I'm like, exactly that. Imagine like if I want to go away, it makes it even more difficult if I've got a whole tank full of acros. It's just it's not worth it for me.
Yeah.
There are people that do it and they do it religiously and they're willing to take the risk, but I'm not one of those people. And I did, to be fair, I did have an acro tank at one point. It was mostly like the easier, like merely I never had tenuous. I'm not interested in tenuous. Like they're a coral you put in, they turn brown within a day, and then a month later they die. So
yeah,
it's
the two things it taught me was, one, I don't have the stomach for it. I'm not up for acros at the moment anyway.
Yeah.
But also, and this is really obvious, don't put acros in a tank that is not set up for acros.
100%.
And so I only tried a few of them. And to be fair, a couple of them are doing fine. But when this one started doing really well, I was like, oh, maybe I could get some more. And I started looking at some other smooth skins because they're deep water corals, I think.
Yeah.
And so they're lower par, so maybe they're better suited to that. But now this has happened, I'm like, you know what? That'll do. That's enough. Actually, I've got one other acro that looks fantastic. Color is amazing, but it hasn't really grown. It might have grown 30% in 6 months.
And you don't know if it was in an environment which it preferred. I know you're saying it's got lower light and stuff like that, but it might have been on the edge of surviving, which is why that small thing was enough to push it over the edge. Whereas if it was in a better environment for it permanently, maybe that thing wouldn't have pushed it over.
Completely, because it doesn't have proper flow, which it really needs. I think that's bigger. That's a bigger issue than light, to be fair. It doesn't have proper flow. And so when it doesn't have proper flow and then your pH and your alkalinity drop as well, it's going to be like, no, I've had enough of this. So there we go. I need to sort the skim. I meant to do that today. I forgot. I need to sort that.
You know how people always go, oh, if I got a new tank, I would do this and it would be different because I would do it this way. Flow is the one thing that I wish I had done differently on the coral farm. I wish that I had... Obviously, there is flow under the trays, but most of the flow comes from the MP40s at one end. Now, what I could have done is got extra holes drilled into the bottom of the other side and had pipes come through. We were drilling loads of holes in those tanks, so it wasn't like it was a difficult thing to put 2 extra holes in, and have it attached to the return pump. So it would just
put
be
a random flow generator on it, or just have the flow.
And I'd love also the other thing. I was thinking this today. I'd love for the tanks to be deeper.
As in taller. Okay.
Yeah, so basically taller, but because then you can have loads. Remember, when you've got very narrow tanks, the flow can't be too powerful, otherwise it starts pushing water out of the tank. So I wish that there was more water. I'd have the racks at exactly the same height. I just wish there was more water and there was a higher bit above.
Okay, you could still do the flow thing with it. You could just put a return pump underneath the trays in the tank with a bit of PVC piping that goes to the end.
That is true. Didn't think about that. Yeah, that is true. We'll see. I just for some reason I'm redesigning the farm at the moment. Don't know why.
When you start tinkering with something, you're like, oh, well, what else could I do?
What will happen is I'll get in the mood to like move house, and then I'll be like, right, now's the time to like properly get it done, do it properly. If all the thing problem is to move house and redo the farm, a lot of money involved in that.
A lot of effort as well. But how much better would you do it? You wouldn't have those massive wood blocks. It'd all be.
No, I know. Yeah, but even that would be more expensive. Well,
I know. Yeah.
The reality is, if I did it again, I would. The difference with regards to how much better it would be, it would probably be 5% better in terms of the day-to-day running of it.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be significant, because it's almost perfect for what I need as it is. There's a few things I don't like. Like I wish the weirs were a bit lower, so the top of the glass the water's not so high up to the top of the glass. And I wish the stand was made of metal, but that just because it looks prettier, not because I like. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I specifically wanted to have no brace around the top of the tank. I paid extra to have no
Oh,
brace.
really? That's funny.
Yeah.
Now you
And
want a
now I
brace.
wish I had. And the reason, and I didn't realize this, when you're fragging corals, it's great to have something you can put things
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So now I have the fish, like the jump nets, so I just put stuff on those. But yeah, having a brace round makes a big difference as well.
Yeah, because you've got your jump nets. They're polycarbonate, and you can remove the middle bit, so you've got effectively a brace, haven't you? Kind of.
Yes, I do. Yeah,
like a lightweight plastic brace, but still.
Someone just said, "How tall are the farm tanks, Ryan?" I'm in the process of ordering a new tank, and there's a big jump in price between 16 and 17 inches. So the tanks, they're 12 inches. I'm pretty sure. It was a long time ago, but I'm pretty sure they're 12 inches. They're like the height of a ruler. So 16 or 17, you'll be fine either of those. I'd say I would make mine probably 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. We're going to move on from Acros.
Sorry.
Because they are doing my nutting at the moment. Well, one is basically. And we're going to talk about what the members want to talk about.
Okay.
So, member questions. First one is from Licia, your mate, your employee. Right?
Do not say that. Licia is not my employee. She is a very kind lady who comes and helps at Aqua.
I know she's going to slap me next time she's here.
Yeah, I might slap you as well for saying that because I need her. You don't upset the people that come and help you. That's for sure.
It's not helping me. I don't care.
Okay.
Has there been any news or update on Aqua 2026?
I'm going to message the guy that runs it tomorrow. I wanted to do it today, and I keep thinking about doing it, and I just keep forgetting.
Yeah.
So I should have just I don't want to bother him because it's the weekend, which is why I don't want to send
Yeah.
I think there's like a courtesy for people that you just don't message them out of hours.
Because even if you say, look, don't text me back till tomorrow.
I know.
It's like, well, I've seen it now. So
exactly, and that's why I'm like, it's like once I've seen it, I can't not deal with it. So I'm going to message him tomorrow.
Ryan is frozen.
Have I?
Well, so whilst he's getting his reception back, I'm not on the website now, which I will share. And it says, exhibitors, we want you, register your interest, but that's it. It's then got, did you miss Aqua H 2025 with a load of like clips and all that sort of stuff on it. But that's it. No other updates, Licia. Ryan, are you back? Or have you just frozen in a different place? You've just frozen in a different place.
I'm calling you.
So there you go. No updates, but Ryan's on it. He's going to be messaging them tomorrow. I think he's back now. Yeah, there you are.
I've not been frozen this whole time.
Oh, you have.
I've been able to see and hear everything this whole time. Okay. I even tried calling you just a second ago, but obviously not. That didn't work. No, I was calling the wrong Alex.
Okay, fair enough.
There you go. Look, anyway. Loads of people say I'm still here. So I've never left. So the last couple of minutes has just been the weirdest look on my face going, what?
Not frozen here. Oh, so everybody's internet connection is down. Except for mine.
It's not that it could be your.
No, that doesn't sound like it was maybe me.
Lizzie's saying she's witnessed the panic live. Yeah, because I'm going, what's going on?
So it was anyway, whatever. Next question from Tomo Bishbosh. I finally got a dosing system set up on my tank. What are my next steps for adding and growing LPS coral? And do you guys have any advice or suggestions on what to do and what to add and when? Some gonnies again to be on the table after Alex has shown how amazing they look. Don't do gonnies. They're a pain in the ass. And they all just die for no reason. Dosing.
I don't find that with gonnies. From personally, I just don't.
I don't find them. I'm just so clever. I can keep eating.
No, I don't know what I think. I just wonder if that's like outdated information now. And I think some if you're maybe
not outdated information. No way. It's not. They're well.
I have great success with gonnies, like growing them, cutting them up. They're one of the easiest corals to cut up. You can come into like these little tiny bits and they still survive. And so I don't know. I'm just surprised.
Okay, well, there you go. Go for gonnies, and when they die, you can send a bill to Ryan. But on tips on how to start dosing, basically, test your parameters, whatever calcium, alkaline, magnesium. If let's say for the sake
this is a new person. Okay, if you're a new person, don't get gonnies.
No, exactly. Yeah.
I didn't hear this. To be fair, I was still flustered because of the imaginary problem we were having.
So, and it's not just newbies though. So, like Reef Keeper, experienced guy, got an amazing tank with loads of torch and that sort of stuff. One of the only calls I struggle with is the Gunny. Shake my head. Anyway, we all know I'm right, so we'll move on from that. But you want to, if let's say for the sake of argument, your alkalinity is 6, your calcium is 350, and your magnesium is 1200. Or dose a little bit of, let's say you've got 3-part or whatever you're dosing, dose a little bit of it, test again the next day. If it's the same, dose a bit more. If it's gone up, adjust accordingly, basically. But just go slowly and just start. It's the only thing is a bit of a pain because you've got to do a lot of testing. You don't have to do it every day, but it's a good idea the first time you start. But just start slow and increase it. It's really easy, basically.
I think that because of the margin of error on test kits, that is actually, I usually like to if you wouldn't be doing this normally. People don't start dosing when they've got a tank full of corals, so usually the amount of elements that you're using is very small. So what I like to do is test on Monday, the Monday later, see how much it's dropped, divide that number by the amount of days, and you know how much you're using each day. So rather than testing every single day, if you see what I mean. Now, if you've got loads of corals, it could drop significantly, but people don't usually start dosing when they've got loads of corals.
That's true. But so the reason I'm talking about doing it every day is if you start dosing, if you dose too much, you want to know about that.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
But just test regularly.
Yeah,
and go slow. Start
and there's
very low on the dosing.
There's calculators online as well to tell you how much you should be dosing for your size tank and what you should be dosing. And then the best thing to do is like half the dose, just to make sure you're definitely underneath it, because it's difficult unless you measured exactly how much water that's gone into your tank. It's difficult to
how many corals you've got and weight and all that. Well, so when I started dosing Calquasso, I started the first night I dosed 100 milliliters for the night. This was on a 4-foot tank filled with Acros. Anyone who's using Calquasso for years is laughing at me now, going 100 mil of calc, mate.
It's nothing, isn't it?
100 times that, exactly. Yeah. But start that and build up and see what happens, and that's the way to go, because it's better to add 1 milliliter of Reef and it do nothing, and be like, okay, cool, let me add 2. But it's really easy. It feels intimidating, but it's really easy. And the only thing I'd say is do get a dosing pump. Don't do it manually.
If you don't have a dosing pump, there's 2 things that sort of change your life in this hobby. One of them is the an auto top up, isn't it?
Yeah.
And a dosing pump is another one.
I've never not had others. There's loads of others. Anyway, next question is from Hamish Walsh, who it turns out is Australian. Since the stream is on Australia Day, good day, Australia Day people. What is your favourite thing Australia gives to the hobby, whether it's brands like Cade, fish like copper bands, or corals like Scullies? I think both of yours would be the copper band. I didn't think that copper bands were from the Marginalis. The big one is from Australia.
And you do get Australian copper bands,
but you get them from Indo as well, don't you? Sure.
So copper bands come from all different places. The Australian ones are as in from multiple different sources, but they are the Australian ones are considerably more expensive, although supposedly they have a much higher survival rate. Now I wonder, is that less about the fish or is that more about the packing of the fish? Like there's probably have different regulations with regards to shipping from Australia than they do from Indonesia. So it's probably more along the husbandry line rather than the actual fish itself. The other thing that I've noticed is usually the Australian ones come in much bigger for some reason. Again, I don't know why.
So what is your favourite thing that Australia has given the hobby?
That I would say probably that. Scullies are nice. They've never really been my thing, but I do like, I can see that they are nice to look at, and I can see why people like them. They're just not for me, really. But yeah, I would say Scullies, because when we couldn't get them, they were missed, I would say.
Yeah, I'm going to do a derivative of that and go aquacultured Scullies, which is monsoon aquatics. That's what they're doing, which is really cool. Cady could as well. Cady make good tanks.
They also Australian corals, when they get shipped over, are always like top quality usually. Like they're pristine, nothing's wrong with them, there's no algae or anything. They're all cut back perfectly. So but they are more expensive. So
Aussie Acro. So I never buy wild Acros anyway, but Aussie Acros are really nice. They're cut off, well, partly because of weight restrictions on shipping, but they're cut back. They're really nice. They're always, they're Aussie Acros are nice, to be fair.
Yeah.
If I was a wild Acro buyer, and you've caught the wrong live stream for that, but I would say wild Aussie Acros, because they do you Aussies do Acros, wild Acros very nicely.
It's funny because
an Aussie strawberry shortcake. Oh, that's a joy to behold.
I remember. It's funny how some things like just stick with you, like in your memory for years and years. And I was snorkeling off Hamilton Island, which is like near the Great Barrier Reef. I think you can take a boat to the Great Barrier Reef, so it's got to be pretty close. And there was this like most unbelievably bright orange acro under normal white light of like sunlight, if you see what I mean. When I saw it, I was like, I have never seen a coral like that before. Yeah. And I just thought, if ever there was a coral I wanted to try and take home, that would be the one.
Yeah.
And it's just, for some reason, I
get metal halides and then you've got it.
Yeah. But I swam with a turtle. That was less impressive to me than seeing that acro, because all the other acros were brown.
Yeah. But do you know what? There was a colony, a massive colony of acro I saw in Mauritius, snorkeling. Yeah. And it was huge. It wasn't a special color. Yeah. We were there for like 20 minutes, and I was there the whole time, and they had to call me back into the boat basically. Yeah. And it just looked amazing. It was like a still lagoon, no flow at all, no movement. The polyps were really puffing out, and it was just it was really cool.
This literally was probably 2 inches. It was just by itself. It was tiny.
Really, tiny little thing. Yeah, okay.
You know how sometimes you see like football fields worth of coral? Yeah. It was tiny. I was like, it almost looks like someone had stuck a frag there, but it wasn't. It was, I assume it was a naturally grown one. So
there you go. Richard's Reef. I saw a post from Jamie Craggs recently that the coral spawning lab are now providing TMC with tank bred trackies. Will Prestige Reef be stocking any of these soon?
If they are there, I am happy to buy them. This is simple as that. So we actually saw tank bred trackies, I think, when we went there in March. Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
So you remember when we had the tour of the Horniman Museum?
Yeah.
I don't know where you were in that tour, but I was at the very front, wasn't I?
I couldn't get to the front where everyone was doing the talking. It was like a queue basically. So yeah.
Yeah, it was like single file, and there was like Jamie, me, and then the guy who runs Reef. So you've got these two like proper scientists talking over me, and he was showing the tank bred trackies there, and they were these little tiny ones that I'd never seen them before. So I'm assuming
were they?
Yeah, they were tiny.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I assume that the ones that are being sold are probably those. I'm sure TMC the other day also had tank bred acans, or micromousas.
Oh really? Oh, interesting. Because we can't get them. Is that right? We can't get them in the UK.
Again,
I think we can get some, but we can't get others. And
yeah, I think so. I don't. The really, really super colourful ones you don't see, but you do see the red and green ones. So I don't know what the rules are with those, but
tank bred trackies, that's cool. I like that a lot.
I just wonder if they're all going to be brown. Remember, he bred Scullies, didn't he, originally? And he bred all brown ones.
Yeah, and that was the annoying. So that was one of the questions I asked, was if you get a bleeding apple Scully, does it poo out a bleeding apple Scully baby?
Yeah.
And the answer is no.
Was it not? I didn't know that.
No. So you can't just, So, because otherwise you just get a master Scully and then grow.
If you think that's how reproduction works, I think you need to go back to to school.
There's an episode of Family Guy when Peter is at the end. He's like, "I always thought that dogs lay eggs."
Yeah, I think
very funny. Anyway, the final member question de membre. This is a really good question, actually. This is from JJS. A couple of weeks ago, someone asked about lowering their phosphate and, as I've heard many times, was advised not to do it too quickly. But many hobbyist expert and even companies in their product instructions will tell people to do a 25% or even 50% water change for one reason or another. It often seems like the same people too offering the seemingly contradictory advice. What are your thoughts? So I would give that advice as well, and I agree with it. And I have a theory as to why, but what do you think, Ryan? What do you think about that?
I have wondered this myself. I actually was wondering this pretty recently. I wonder if it's the product which is
Okay.
the reason.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Because I agree. If you do a 50% water change and half your phosphate, the corals love it. So but if you strip out 50% of your phosphate with a product,
Yeah,
they don't like it. So
TFO.
what is it? What's the difference?
So I think there are two things at play. I think firstly, I think exactly that. So Roaphos doesn't just remove phosphate. I forget, it'll tell you on the website what it removes. Aluminium is one of the things, and there's some other stuff it removes as well. So it won't just remove phosphate, and it can also have an impact on your alkalinity as well. If you crash your phosphate with Roaphos, that can crash your alkalinity as well. I believe that's right. So it can do that. So it might be that it's pulling out something else, or that is what's actually causing the problem, not removing the phosphate, because the phosphate it's not a poison, but it's effectively a harmful substance in high quantities. But my theory, so I saw that question earlier, I was thinking about it. My theory is that when you do if you put a ton of Roaphos in, and this will happen, it will strip everything out and all your corals will sulk. It's just removing phosphate, or maybe aluminium and a couple of other things. If you do a water change, you are changing everything. So you're not just, which in a way sounds worse, but you're removing everything. And so when it comes to water changes, so I did an 80%, probably 90% water change on the TMC tank today because I had an ammonia spike. And so I had, there was literally an inch of water at the bottom, and there are two corals in there. They're zoas, so they're going to be fine anyway. But I would do an 80% water change on a reef tank. Maybe not an acro tank, but I would do an 80% water change. And I did actually on my main tank, I don't know, a few months ago, I did 50% water change and looked great afterwards. And there's not really, I would do that if I could be bothered to make up 400 liters of water once a month. I would do that happily on the main tank, no problem.
I literally did a 600-liter water tank on the water box today.
Exactly.
I know what you mean. There's something I just wonder if there's something in the product which dissipates after a period of time, but you can only have
but it can be, if you strip out phosphate, it can be an instant impact, more or less.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Within 12 hours, whatever. So it's a good question. I don't know the answer. I feel like it's because you're changing everything together instead of just one thing, but I don't know. But it's the kind of the subtext of it is, well, that doesn't make any sense. So is that really right? And I think the answer is it is right. And I would never put in way too much Roaphos to remove phosphate or lanthanum, but I would happily do a massive water change. And I would advise that to anyone. That's not one of these do as I say, not as I do things. That is, I would tell anybody to do that. So there's not really a limit on water changes. Maybe with acros you've got to be a bit more delicate, but
maybe if it was 100%.
100%. But as long as you're mixing up your salinity right. But it's a good point. And this is one of the things that is like a real head scratcher because everyone bangs on about stability endlessly, and that's for good reason. That is really important. But then you say, well, stability is really important, but do a 50% water change. Well, how are you talking about? Don't make any sense.
There's probably a scientist out there that knows the answer. We are just not them.
No, exactly.
But if you do know the answer, and you like, if you genuinely know the answer, then let me know. If you imagine that you know the answer, I don't get like 50 messages from people going, oh yeah, I think if someone actually knows the answer, I always want to learn. And as I said, these sorts of questions come up like while I'm doing like fragging of the corals or whatever. So and it's just interesting. That one came up for me the other day, but no one can tell me the answer either. So
yeah, it's the right advice, but I don't know why. So good question though. Like it.
Yeah.
But that is the end of member questions. Lots today. So thanks for your contributions. Appreciate it. Ryan, you know what that means, don't you?
Yes, Coral of the Week time. It's the
Prestige Reef.
competition time.
Is it the Coral of the Week first? Oh, it was a Fish of the Week.
Okay, maybe we'll do Fish of the Week then.
And before we start, what you need to know is that last week your Fish of the Week was rated as a success, and your Coral of the Week was. So you've got
Was
to,
it?
yeah.
Oh
Your
yeah.
fish was the blue puffer, I think, and your coral was that drab.
The drab thing that East Coast Reef, the drab coral East Coast Reef said is like one of his favorites. Wow. So, and I looked in the farm and I was like, this is a nice coral. When the next day, I was like, what do you people know?
Just back to the that question. This was JJ who asked it. The thing though, I often see is people say a certain amount, like Mandy Hames Farley recommends a maximum of 0.05 per day, no matter the product you use. Yeah. And that's why I'd say lanthanum is I would say the same thing. I wouldn't strip out a ton of phosphate with too much lanthanum or GFO. But so maybe that is because you're only changing one thing. But yeah, water changes they're just good. Don't know why, but they are.
Expensive on a 4,000 litre system though.
Yes, expensive on a 700 litre system, let alone 4,000. How much is a 4,000 litre? Well, hang on, how much would that be for a 50% water change? 150 quid.
2,000 litres for a 50% water change. How much price-wise, I don't know.
Yeah, a lot.
Well, anyway, if you think about it, it would be roughly 6 buckets of salt. Just under 6 buckets of salt.
Okay.
It's sort of 3.5 buckets of salt. That's what it would be.
Okay. Anyway, the Prestige Reef Fish of the Week. You're under pressure because last week the Fish of the Week was good. And we're going to vote again. So
well, if they don't like the Fish of the Week this week, technically I had a Fish of the Week and you went, I prefer this one. So let's see what Alex's Fish of the Week does. So
what's your Fish of the Week, Ryan?
I've gone for a cave basslet. Now, these bassets, I think everyone should have a basset. They're different. They're sort of an interesting, different fish that, how most people have a goby and a blenny and a tang and a hawkfish. Bassets are less common, but they're a great fish. They're like mini groupers, basically. They're totally reef safe. They don't cause any issue unless you have like probably really tiny fish. But we don't really see those sort of fish in the hobby.
Not mysis shrimp safe, but otherwise,
yeah, right. They're not safe for like a mysis shrimp but they are. They're just. I find them. My one's out all the time. So I have a candy basset that's out all the time at the moment. I have had a Swiss Guard basset before where I hardly ever saw it. Like I would see it once a week. Mm-hmm. One of my customers got a tangerine basset the other day. Someone said, "Nice Molly." Oh, Les said it. One of my customers got a tangerine basset the other day, which he says he hasn't seen for the last 2 weeks. So they can be a bit secretive, but we all know by now that I love secretive fish. So the one thing I'd love to know, I don't know if you can keep 2, because if I could keep 2, I would get a second one.
Oh, really? Well, yeah, just because they look a bit different. Is that basically it?
They're, as I said, they look a bit different. They're secretive. They're usually bright colors. Like even the cave basset ones, it is a nice color. I prefer the Swiss Guard baslets, which is that one.
Actually, that's a picture of a Swiss Guard and a just out of curiosity. By the way, my Fish of the Week that I'm taking credit for is currently at 76% yes. So it was.
Oh no, you said it was my Fish of the Week.
Yeah, not having that.
Let's put it this way: if they liked that fish, they would have liked my Swiss Guard baslet as
informally, just in the chat. Which do you think is better, the cave, which is the bottom one, the pink one, or the top one, which is a Swiss Guard?
The top one, definitely.
It's not. No.
Why would you want to have no pattern on it?
It's boring pattern. Why would you want to have a boring pattern? You can have a bright pink fish with like a white underbelly and a yellow nose. Amazing.
I didn't even notice it had a white underbelly. That's true. In that picture, it does. But the other ones, you don't really see
it. Yeah, they're cool. To be fair, I like them. I like all of them. The candy is the ultimate one.
They're not the cheapest fish, though, I would say.
No.
I don't know what a cave basset is. Obviously, the candy bassets are like ridiculously expensive. Then the Swiss Guard basslets, I think, are a few £100 now.
250 quid for a cave basset.
There you go. Even the cave ones are. So they're not the cheapest fish. Like if you go for a tangerine basset, they're like 100 quid, I think. So they're like the price is coming down on them. But they.
So the unofficial answer is everybody said cave bass. That was my one. So
What? No, I just looked at the comments. Swiss guard. One person said cave.
no.
Yeah, no. And listen, look at that picture of a cave basslet.
249 quid.
So I would say they are a nice fish that if you've been in the hobby for a while and you've had all the yellow tangs and you're looking for an interesting fish, they're a nice fish to have. Are you sold on one or not?
I think they're really cool. I would love a candy basslet. That cave basslet I think is really cool. The Swiss guard. The only thing I don't like about the Swiss guard really is that once you've seen a candy basslet, a Swiss guard just looks like a poor imitation. But if I'd never seen a candy basslet, I'd probably like it. But so they're cool fish, and I would like one, but I'm not paying 250 quid for a cave basslet, and I'm not paying 2,000 or whatever it is for a candy.
Actually, a Swiss guard basslet is cheaper than a cave bass. I've just Googled it. There's one here for £189. So they're actually cheaper.
How much is a Swiss guard?
£189.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of money though, isn't it?
No, I know, but it's cheaper than I thought the cave basslet was cheaper. So 250 is obviously a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
there you go. But no, they're cool fish. I like that. And I agree with the chat that was a good fish of the week. Well done.
There you go. So what we have established is that your fish of the week was good, but my fish of the week was better.
It's true. Yeah, you still would have qualified unofficially. What is the Prestige Reef coral of the week?
I have gone for a space monkey favia. Now I don't know for sure if this is because if you Google space monkey favia, a few other more greeny looking corals come up. I don't know if this person has got the name wrong, but this is the coral that I'm actually talking about. This gold with a real bright, vibrant pink.
Aqua-vault.com.
Yeah, I don't know who are they, like an American company? Yeah, they are. You can see it's in dollars.
Yeah, I'll try and look for a price. There's no price here, I don't think. But anyway.
But yeah, so I had a piece of that which I sold, and I wish I had never sold it because that's a nice coral.
Very nice.
I've got something similar at the moment, but it's not the same. So, but yeah, they're relatively easy to keep, bright colors. I think that one's $40, wasn't it? I think I sold mine for 40.
That was shipping. I think it was talking about.
Oh, okay. I think my one sold for £40 when I had it.
A bargain. I'd have had that.
Yeah, and if I could get more, I'd probably buy more.
There's a place in Germany called Dream Reef, I think it is.
Yeah.
You can find them on Instagram. And he's got a website, and they have really nice favia like that.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. That guy.
Yeah, you can't import them, unfortunately.
But so I'm sure that sometimes sometimes I'll get coral in, and then I'll be like, oh no, I'll just. Like, it depends on how much money I need that month, if you see what I mean. Sometimes I'm like, because remember, every coral I have is a gamble because I can take it and then it either survives or it doesn't. If it doesn't survive, then I know it's a small gamble.
Favias are pretty hardy, aren't they?
It's a small gamble, but it's still a gamble.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean. Like,
I'm trying to think if I've ever lost a favia, actually. Are they like secretly one of the hardiest corals? Because you never hear about them in beginner coral lifting.
Yeah, favias, goniastrias, I find to be easy. Some people find those difficult, goniastrias. I can't remember who it was. Someone said the other day, I can't keep those. And I was like, they grow like crazy for me. Yeah, it's just, I think they're underrated corals. I think people very much focus on torch corals, frog spawns, things, but there's loads of really nice corals that are just encrusting and
we've said a few times, favias are like, it feels like they're the next big thing because there's just so many amazing colors.
Chalices and war corals. War corals, people have been sleeping on those for ages. I got some nice ones. Some of them are just red and green, but I got some that look like chalices where they're like nicely colored.
I'm listening. Okay. War corals I don't tend to like. There's a classic red and green. There's kind of like a burgundy red and green. Anyway, they are fairly named. They're aggressive.
I don't find that. I don't know why, but no, I have mine literally within like a frag plug of the next thing, and they don't sting anything.
Okay. To be fair, I had one, and it was a colony-sized piece, and it was like 8 years ago, and it just stung the crap out of his neighbour. But
yeah.
It was a long time ago, so I don't really remember. All right. So, the good news is, Ryan, you 91% think that is a good coral of the week. 74% thought my fish was a good fish of the week. So,
and 94% thought my fish was a good fish.
no. Actually, I think there were 4 votes. 3 said yes, 1 said no. That means you're 75%. Oh no, actually, did I say 74%? Ah,
yeah, 75%. Thank you very much. Shot yourself in the foot there, didn't you?
I know. But there you go. So a good fish of the week and a good coral of the week. Well done. Very impressive. Fine. What are we going to do next, Ryan?
The news.
Hang on, I'm trying to find the jingle.
Sorry, I mean.
Yeah, I was trying to.
You interrupted me saying the news very slowly.
I know. News. Because reefkeepingnews.com is back. There's loads of news now, so I can guarantee you news every week until the end of time, basically. So,
perfect.
So Reef Keeping News, right? Fine. First off, lights, Ryan.
Exciting.
Not asleep just yet. Give it time. The ATI Straton is so Reef Keeping News describe it as the MacBook Air of aquarium lighting, and it has started shipping, so you can now buy this. This is the Straton X. So the current one is the long thin one, and this is a square. It's about 1 foot square basically, and it's ultra tiny. I've done a video on this at Acros, and it's basically as thick as a mobile phone, tiny bit thicker, but still it's really thin. No fan, so it's passively cooled, and it was quite warm to the touch, but that's doing its job. ATI are excellent at lights when it comes to. They did what they called the ATI Sun Power, the T5. They were like the head of the game, so very highly thought of, good quality light. And this is it's 150 watt light, and it costs £800 plus £100 for the mount.
Okay.
The mount, to be fair, the mount is really nice. It's a nice slender.
How does that price compare to its competitors though? Because that looks like it can do more. That looks like maybe you need 2 of those over a tank rather than 3.
So you would need 1 of those over a 2 foot cube.
Okay.
And 2 of them over a 4 foot by 2 foot tank.
So it's basically the same as a Radion then still.
Kind of. So a Radion is about 215 watts. The Straton is 150. You can't compare watt for watt. It doesn't. For a start, the Radion some of that energy will be going towards powering the fan. So you can't compare watt for watt generally, but they're broadly the same. The Radion's probably on paper more powerful, but I'd have to do a par test. But I think equivalent. If you were going to use Radions, you would use 2. You would use 1 Radion for each Straton X, I think. So 800 quid for that. How much do you reckon? And the mount is 100 quid. What's your first reaction to the price of both of those? 800 quid for light and 100 quid for the mount. And I'll tell you comparisons in a sec.
Well, I think it's a lot. Is your honest answer? I think it's a lot.
That was my first reaction for both. For the mount, 100 quid for a bracket. The Radion XR30, which is roughly the equivalent of £875.
That's even more.
That's a real lot. I thought they were a lot less than that not that long ago. And the mount is 111 quid. So even more.
Basically the same. They're supplied by the same people, aren't they? Don't
Exodus. I don't know.
Do the API. Or is that not right?
Steve Fox. Is that Exodus?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, then yes.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway, so it's cheaper than a Radion XR30, which is surprising because ATI Stratons I think they're quite expensive, like generally. But there you go, you've got an alternative. I can feel East Coast Reefer in the chat now, banging on about how good.
He's typing away. He's just busy writing an essay.
Bloody loves them. So there you go. Another lighting option is currently available, and they look nice. To be fair, I know that doesn't matter for your corals, but they look nice above your tank. So yeah, if you're into that, then it's good. We're going to move on from lights, Ryan, which is the good news. But the bad news is we're moving on to UV sterilizers.
Even worse.
It's worse, okay. So TMC have brought out a Titan UV 275, which is an upgraded version of their existing 200. So it is 1.3 times more effective than a standard UV sterilizer. And that is because, and I wrote this down, it has a photocatalytic lining that increases performance.
What does 1.3 times more effective mean?
30% more.
I was going to say that's what it sounds. 1.3 sounds like bigger than 30%, I think, but
Yeah,
it's just a weird way of putting it.
It's 130% of the original.
Yeah,
So
that's what I thought.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I know what you mean there. But yeah, so 30% more, but it's 20% more cost. So actually, performance, you're getting more performance than cost, if that makes sense. Don't we? That's not a proper comparison. But anyway, so the standard one is 100 quid. Have I got that right? And this one is 120. I have got that right. It's only an 8-watt bulb though, which strikes me as being quite small. And they say it's for tanks up to 825 litres now. I would want more than 8 watts of UV on my tank, 700 litres. I think I've got 100 watts. But nonetheless, to be fair, one thing that TMC do a lot of and have been doing for years is UV sterilizers. So
I've got one on my tank, but the bigger version of that. I think they do a 300 one, I think.
There you go. Get the 300.
Maybe. I don't know. I might not be right. Like, I might have a 150 or something, but yeah, I've definitely got one.
Yeah. I wonder if it's not the same type of UV or something in the bulb. Anyway, whatever. There's a new TMC UV sterilizer and it's fancier, more effective than the old one. And to be fair, for an extra 20 quid, I think that's probably worth it. I wouldn't consider the cheaper one unless I was on a real tight budget for that, because that's a decent bump in performance. Unless they're lying, of course.
What an interesting way to put it.
Which they won't be. I'm only messing around. Next thing. Did you know you can grow corals on breadcrumbs?
I'm trying to work out where you're going with this, but no, I did not.
Literally, you can grow corals on breadcrumbs. So researchers in Indonesia have discovered that coral larvae will settle on clay, charcoal and breadcrumbs. And
is the bread not all soggy?
Well, this is the thing. I don't know exactly what that means, because like if you put bread in water, you're not going to settle a coral on it. But anyway, I don't know if it's like treated or something. But this is Dr. Widius Duty. Terribly sorry for mispronouncing your name, which I'm sure I have done. Who's studying, basically, is a marine scientist in Indonesia. And what really the point of this is that they found cheaper, sustainable materials that they can use to grow corals on, which is a big deal if you're settling corals in the wild, because you're not just making 1 or 2 frags, you're putting out thousands of coral larvae. So if you can make it cheaper and more sustainable, then you can recover the reef more quickly, you can spread more corals, all that sort of stuff. So very cool. I don't know if this is just like Hovis from your local Sainsbury's, but try it. Maybe you should try that, Ryan, as an experiment.
I was going to say, don't try this at home. And you were like, try it.
Yeah, give it a crack. It's like a normal middle slice more effective than the crust, or other way around, or the inside. I don't know. Work it out. Is Hovis better than Warburton's for growing corals? Who knows? Challenge to anybody who wants to grow corals. And finally, there is a Reefers Network meet, AAC, Advanced Aquarium Consultancy, sorry, on the 28th of February this year, so next month, basically this time next month. And word on the street is that there are 2 extremely handsome men going to attend. Ryan, can you confirm
East Coast
that?
Reefer and the Spiritual Reefer, is that who you're referring to?
No, me and you are going potentially.
Yes, I was just checking. It's Saturday, isn't it? 28th.
Saturday, yeah, Saturday, 28th of February, yeah. I say potentially. I think we're going.
Yeah, so. No. That's my plans to go. Yeah.
Cool. There you go.
It's not. I said to Rachel earlier. It's like when you get a load of all like the YouTubers together. It's just nice, even though you don't talk to each other in between a lot of the time. I know occasionally I'll talk to East Coast or whatever, just casually popping on his live stream. But it's because you're all the same, if you see what I mean. You all have a similar love of the hobby, but also to some extent a love of making videos. You connect with all these people, which is why I'll go, because there seems to be less because they usually Love to Reef usually is on around now, but I've not heard anything about it, so maybe it's not happening this year.
I don't know.
I thought that was in like March, wasn't it? Or that could be completely wrong. It could be in October. Don't
remember. 18th of May it was. 2024 is on the website. 18th of May. But
yeah, so
that
March,
sounds right, because I'm sure there was a concert I went to in May last year or the year before, which was when it.
But I haven't heard anything about it. So I just thought if they're all doing it, I'm in. So I'll be there.
Yeah, there you go. So we will be there. And also, the final thing is I have 3D news, Ryan.
3D? This sounds exciting.
Well, it's 3D for me.
Yeah, okay.
So Easy Reefs, who you'll know them because they make mastic, which is the stuff that
Yes.
copper bands eat.
Yeah.
One of the only dry foods that copper bands are known to eat regularly. They brought out a new product range, so a new load of food basically. This is their post from Instagram, and it says new brand images here, new look, same quality. So I think they've just changed the bottles, is what they're saying. But they brought out, so actually, and the reason I say this is 3D is because they sent me, but they messaged me on Instagram and said, we're looking for people on Instagram to send some food, tell us what you think of it, basically, or post about it or whatever. And I was like, I don't like posting that sort of thing on Instagram because no matter what you say in the comments, in the comment, yeah, no one reads that, so it just looks like you're advertising it. So I said, well, look, send it to me and I'll talk about it in the news. So they sent it to me. I haven't used any of it yet, but I'll tell you all the stuff that that you get. So you get the mastic, little stuff, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah, almost focused then.
Yeah, it didn't. And then the other things they've got, they got plankton, which is coral food, which is LPS, and which you'll be able to hear, and then SPS, which is a powder. Basically. Yeah. I've not used any of them yet. And then they've got a pellet food. So they've only got, it's only meaty. It's all down as omnivore. So they've sent me 4 tubs of this stuff. It's all the same. It's basically different sizes. So 2 millimeters, 1.2 millimeters, 0.8, and 0.6. Now I did email them when this stuff arrived and said, why would anyone buy this? What's your unique selling point? You know, why would you buy this over?
I love it. Was, we're going to send you this, Alex, and then you get it, and then you're like, why would anyone buy this?
When I was writing that, I was like, I don't want this to come across as like this is awful. Yeah. But what I meant is like, give me your sales pitch. Tell me why this is different from because there are loads of food products. So tell me what this is good. And the plan for that was to say, well, look, now I can tell you guys what they told me, but they didn't get back to me.
Okay.
The only thing I did find when I looked around online was that the 0.6 millimeter size they advertise as being, this is what I think, either this is what Biota use for their captive bred mandarins,
okay,
or that this is specifically designed for them or whatever. But anyway, if you've got a captive bred mandarin, the 0.6 mil size is apparently very good, and that's their extra small size.
So I feel like I'm a bit slow today. I'll add them to the list.
Add them to the list. Put them on the list. Yeah. No, but I just mean like, anyway. All right, fine.
I actually like Easy Reefs. I've met them in person. I think are they Spanish?
They're Spanish. Yeah. I had no idea.
Yeah. I met them in Zoo, I think, and they were sort of like trying to revolutionize the food market to some extent, and they made like a phytoplankton thing that you could cultivate the plankton yourself and things like that. And then they've gone back to just making food. But mastic really,
I was going to say mastic. So the rest of it, I couldn't see anything majorly different. The omnivore pellets, it comes in really different lots of different sizes, which is useful. I only have I can't remember what sizes, but in my auto feeder, if they're too big, they just don't work. So, and same if they're too small. So it's useful having different sizes. But the food for corals, great that they've thought about what LPS want and what SPS want. But the mastic is the one thing that for me is like that's just like if you've got a copper band and various other finicky fish. What's the Elliott and Marine Collectors use it for orange spot filefish?
Yeah. So
I did
try loads of.
Yeah, so I did try it in my my TMC tank where I've got the little pufferfish and the yellow boxfish. The pufferfish went for it. The yellow boxfish had a look but wasn't interested. And because I had a small ammonia spike, it wasn't danger level, it was at alert level. But because I had a small ammonia spike, I decided let's back off the feeding. So I can't really train him to eat it properly. But that's the sort of thing that's the sort of fish that I feel like would eat mastic. If it's finicky, you know. Because it smells.
No, stinks, as in my one, my boxfish used to, Pablo used to eat it all the time.
There you go.
I used to have an algae clip on a algae magnet. So I stuck the clip to the magnet, and then I would put algae on the clip, and then I'd put mastic on the top. And the tangs would eat the algae, and sometimes the mastic, and he would come and eat the mastic off the top.
There's actually the one thing with this. So in terms of, I couldn't work out pricing and if it's at the expensive end or the cheap end, because everything comes in different size and all this sort of stuff. But the one thing I did like about this stuff is the size of the tub. So the last time I bought a different food was Reef's Elements, and the Reef's Elements food is good. It comes in, there's loads of variety and all that sort of stuff, but the pot is enormous, and when you open it, it's like half empty. So why don't you just give me a smaller pot?
Because you bought it because it was a big pot.
Probably, but it takes up a load of space, and it doesn't sit on my in the space that I want it to put. And this stuff will because it's in a smaller pot. So there you go. Anyway, that is the news. And there are a couple of there are a couple of food companies that I've heard about a little bit more about recently that I didn't know about. Easy Reefs, I didn't realize they were Spanish. That's cool. And Vitalis, I didn't realize they were English. Based in
They used to be New Era, I think. Vitalis used to be, it used to be black tubs, and they were like the most like well-known food at the time. And there was some, I'm not sure what it was, but there was some issue with a company in America, I think, with regards to the name. I think it was called New Era. So I don't know. There are no facts here, and I don't want to annoy anyone but I think there was some issue with the name, so they had to change the name, and they changed to Vitalis. And they also had to change the black tubs as well, I think, maybe.
But so Vitalis is the pellet food I use at the moment. But
I think they're very, very good. They have been around for a long time, and they're known for being like premium, I think.
So although I did ask what your USP is with this of Easy Reefs, and my impression is from looking at it and researching it a little bit, they're not like the cheapest. I think they try to aim to make the best quality. All the stuff they talk about this is a premium food. So if you're looking for the cheapest, it doesn't sound like it is. And I think they try to focus on the best nutrition, and there were some quite high percentages of protein on some of these, and protein is the stuff you want. I'm just trying to look. There was one that was like 60%. Yeah, here we go. So the what's this? LPS pellets are 64% protein, which is quite high. Ash 16%, which I think is the phosphate element. But anyway, there you go.
I was using mastic at first, getting all the copper bands to eat, and they were basically putting me out of business because the the balls of mastic are not like they are expensive.
So this is a 50. I looked up the price before the stream. This stuff, for a 50-gram pot of that much mastic, which is a relatively small pot, it was £17, I think. That's a good few weeks worth, but mastic isn't cheap.
Not when you got 7 copper bands. It's not.
No. But to be fair, it's cheaper than buying a replacement copper band.
That is true. That is true. That's a good point.
30% protein, but there's something in mastic that makes the fish go crazy. Oh, hello. New Era is a hat company, apparently, by the way. So I wonder if they're concerned that people would be buying New Era fish pellets and expecting them to get a hat.
It was something to do with that, I think. So.
Right. I believe we have reached the end of our. Would you have any closing thoughts on Acros, Ryan? Given you're an Acro skeptic.
Not really. To be honest, no. I think we've said what we need to say.
There you go.
So, have you got any closing thoughts on Acros? Are you waiting for me to fill in the gap?
Acros. I do want at some point a proper Acro tank, but I just don't think I've got. Ultimately, certainly at the moment, I haven't got the stomach for it. I'm not up. I'm not
even sure that if someone else ran the tank for me, and they were one of the best Acro keepers in the world, that I would want an Acro tank. They just don't do it for me.
Okay, not at all.
No, as I said, even if someone else ran the tank for me and they came every day to look after it and all the ICPs were done, I would still not want a 100% Acro tank.
Okay, fair enough.
Just don't have. I like the movement. They don't have a lot of movement. I know they got like a little bit of movement.
This is true. So that's the one thing actually. When I've done tours recently and I've seen Acro tanks, they are just completely stationary. I mean, obviously, completely static, and you do notice it. It's noticeable.
Yeah.
But they're still an Acro tank done right is just so good. I love it. I'm not with you on that one. Someone said go to Randall's Reef if you're ever in Belper. Do you know where Belper is, Ryan?
I have no idea where Belper is, and I can't imagine I'm ever going to go there. But
it is Derbyshire. It's a long way from us. Yeah, I used to live in Spondon. For any people from Derby and Derby, lived on Friargate. not Frygate. I worked on Frygate. Doesn't matter.
I'm assuming Randall's Reef must
And-
have a really nice tank if he's suggesting that you
Oh,
go.
it was a shop, but
Oh, it might be a shop.
no, maybe I don't know. Anyway, fine. Thank you all for watching, guys. Bye. Catch you next week.
See you later.